So my name is Airina, and who am I, first of all? First of all, I am managing Impro Theatre Kitas Kampas. I am mentoring and co-developing career platform iDialogue, which was already presented. I am lecturing, doing therapy, traveling, loving people, and actually many of that is thanks to serendipity. And now, first of all, it's already second of all, because first of all I presented myself, and second of all, why do we talk in English today? One of the reasons is because really there is no translation of this word in Lithuanian. So how to talk about something that doesn't even exist in the understanding level? And in 2004, British translation company voted this word to be one of the hardest to translate in other languages. It doesn't have translation in a lot of other languages except English. And it is, in this paper, it goes together with the words like facepalm. Like, we don't have the word for that also. How British people do. And also with the word kitsch, with this form of art. We also in Lithuanian say kitschas. It's not really a translation. So serendipity goes there also. One of the hardest words to translate. But now, what is serendipity? Starting from the term, what does it mean? It says that it is not just a matter of random events, nor it can be taken as a synonym for happy accident. Serendipity is occurrence and development of events by chance in a beneficial or satisfactory way. What does it mean by chance? It means that events are out of ongoing project, or it doesn't meet any of the present need, or the cause is unknown. It sounds a bit complicated, no? Like kind of accident, but kind of not, and really it is a bit complicated. But let's look at the origin. I want to start from the origin and history, and then come to myself, and then maybe you come to yourself, and then we get a deeper understanding what that is, the word that we don't even have a word in Lithuanian. So starting from the origin, Horace Walpole, there was a guy in 1754, and he was working with history, with politics, and he, in one of his letters to his friend, he wrote for the first time the term serendipity. And he came up with this word because he read ancient Persian fairy tale called Three Princes of Serendip, and somehow from this content of this fairy tale, he came up with the term serendipity. Which the meaning was, as I already told, because in this fairy tale, three princes were searching for something, but on their way they were meeting accidents and people and situations, and somehow they found totally different thing that they were searching for. And those princes were coming from the country called Serendip. So this guy, Horace Walpole, read this fairy tale and said, okay, this is what they did, I will call it serendipity. And since then, this word is used from 1754. And I also wanted to share some examples from the history, from the science history, what kind of inventions and discoveries are called, not called, but are under this term of serendipity. For example, Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin in 1928 by serendipity. How did that happen? Of course, this is not data, this is something from Wikipedia, so I'm not saying it's the exact facts, but it happened like something like this, that in the lab, somebody accidentally left one material open. Somebody left accidentally window open. And the next day, this guy, Alexander, came and saw that on this material that was left open by chance, there is a mold. And he got interested, what is this? And he took it, he did some research, his experiments, and that's how he came up with penicillin. The other example could be Percy Spencer, who invented, microwave oven. It happened in 1945, and this guy was total amateur. He was doing something with radar, with waves. And he was in his house, in his yard, something he was doing, searching, experimenting something, and by chance, he had a candle in his pocket. And by chance, doing something, after that, he noticed that the candle is melting. So he came up with the idea that those waves are influencing something, and that's how he invented microwave oven. And the third example, Spencer Silver, and he is the guy of Post-it notes. In 1968, this guy, he was a researcher, and he was working very hard to invent a not sticky glue, how to say, super strong glue, but somehow on his way, he didn't manage to do that, but he managed to invent a glue that is reusable. Of course, he was not satisfied. He thought this is not the result he was expecting. But somehow his colleague, one day, he just said, reading his book, he said, give me some of this glue because I want to stick my bookmark on the book. So he used those glue to stick his bookmark on the book, and that's how they saw that it can be used actually, and they invented Post-it notes, those yellow little things. And why is it yellow? Usually, now we have different colors, but usually the origin was yellow just because the print house next door had only yellow paper. It's simple as it is. So those are examples from science, how by accidental events going in some kind of sequence, we come up with something that we didn't even look for, but something valuable, right? And this is awesome. For me, it sounds like, wow, it sounds amazing, but this is from Wikipedia, this is something from history, this is something big. And what I like to do all the time when I meet something big, some information, some research, something, I like to check it with myself. How is it for me, from my personal experience? And now I would like to share some personal examples of serendipity in my life. I call it serendipity. Maybe by listening to that, you will also think of something that happened to you, something that you met, something that changed something. When I was thinking what examples to say, I remembered one story. It happened, it's a period of time in my life. It happened like 5 years ago. And the period was, I was living with my partner, with my boyfriend for many years, and we decided to have kids. It's time. Okay, kind of it's okay, kind of we want it, and we are for many years together, let's have kids. So we started the project. Like, I quit smoking, I quit drinking, doing tests, taking vitamins, and doing other stuff that is needed for having babies also. So it was an ongoing project of some months. During that time, I was working as an event organizer. So I was inviting different actors to lead the events, and I had some of my favorites. And I was working always with them because I knew they're good, I knew how they work, it was safe. And one day my colleague says, why don't you try this guy, another actor? And I was like, okay, but actually I thought, no, I mean, I have my favorites, why would I try a new one? What if he doesn't do his work well? But then, for one event, I was calling all my favorite ones, and they were all busy this day. All right, so I decided, okay, let's check this guy. So I invited this new actor. He came, he did the event, it was amazing. I loved it, we started working together, we created a contact. It was really great to work together. So work with a lot of organizing events and kids project, everything is going on at the same time. And then, out of the blue, my friends decide to get married. Okay, I go to the wedding, it's a party, seaside, everything is nice. And then, like 6 in the morning, one guy, one friend, he comes with a cigarette. And he gives a cigarette to me, and I said, no, for 6 months I quit, I don't smoke, no. But he just leaves it in my hands. And I'm standing there, it's already getting light, and it's seaside, and the mood is something a bit magical, and but maybe just to try, maybe I don't like it anymore. Just, one cigarette won't change anything. I quit. I can quit again in the morning. It's fine. And I light it up, and it was the best cigarette of my life. Really the best. And then it would be just the best cigarette of my life. But with this came all the thoughts like, oh my God, what kind of life do I want? Do I want this freedom, adventures, and traveling, and doing everything, or kids and family? And this cigarette really messed up in my head. So in the morning, the upcoming days, I invited my partner, my boyfriend, to talk seriously. And I said that I need a little bit of time with this kids project because I'm really in a big doubt. So he was generous enough to give me some time to think it over. And 2 weeks later, in working in one of my events with a new actor, he said, hey, do you want to come and work in improvisation theater? Manage this theater. And it was really the invitation of my life back then, because that sounded like opportunity, that sounded something new, that sounded like something I really want. And I said, yes, of course. Although I didn't know anything about the theater and how to manage it, but okay, I'm pretty patient to get to know new things. So I said, yes, of course. I come back to my partner and I say, look, it's project now, it's I'm changing job now, it's off for 2 years at least. So we broke up, of course, but it's another story. So this is an example. I'm still working with the theater. It's for 4 years now, and I love it. And this is an example how from one project, which was family and kids, somehow meeting different people and different circumstances and different situations, I came up with changing job and actually changing my life. Because after that, really a lot of things changed in my life. And now today I'm standing here, and I'm really happy with what I do, with how I live. Maybe some of you are thinking, yeah, but if you wouldn't do that, maybe you would be now with your kids happy, with your partner, living, enjoying. Maybe. That I will never get to know, because my choice was different. But what makes me so sure that that was good decisions is that today I feel really good. Today I feel happy with what I do. So this period of my time with this serendipity, I take it as really beneficial for me. And even today, talking about another example, today I'm standing here just because my colleague from my dialogue Saulius met with Lina, who is organizing Creative Mornings. They met just to talk about cooperation, for something really different. And then Lina mentioned that, you know what, for the May I don't have a speaker yet, it's about serendipity, and Saulius somehow comes up with the idea, text Airina, and then he texts me, are you free 26th of May to talk about serendipity, which is something about accidents or coincidences? And I really check my calendar, sure. Because I thought, it's something, coincidence, accidents, it's a lot to do with improvisation, and I'm in improvisation, I'm doing workshops about that, I know the subject, sure. And then I start Google, what is serendipity? And I understand that it's not really what I thought, but it's really a lot more interesting. And I changed the first idea of what I'm going to talk, but anyway, it's something that got my attention really, really deep. So when I think of the examples of my life, somehow it seems that I know what it is. If you managed to remember something from your life, maybe you have also this feeling what it is. When it happens, you kind of have a feeling, but you have no idea how did it happen, why did it happen, what was the sequence, and what was influencing what, but at the end, you have a feeling that it is so right. But then the question is, how? Really, what is needed for serendipity to happen? What circumstances? Can we influence it? Can we plan it? Or is it science, or is it magic? What it is at the end? Because if it's something that I like, if it's something that I welcome in my life, I would like to invite it more, to have it more, because it's amazing. It leads you somewhere you don't know where, and you discover things that you didn't even think of at the beginning. So how to invite it in your life? And thinking of that, because when I do speeches or I do workshops, I like very much to go from theory to practice, to share something from my work or from my personal experience, but something really practical that I am using, and maybe somebody will hear it and somebody will use it also. I find it very valuable to get some tools or to get some ideas. So thinking about this speech, I was trying to come up with something, remembering my personal experience. What was that was needed for those events to happen? And I came up with one answer. It is being open. Because sometimes you have a plan. Usually you have a plan, not sometimes. And usually you are pretty much focused on the goal, on the result. And it's fine, of course. You need to do something, you set the goal and you go, you have steps, and it's fine. But if you get too much focused, then the process does not matter anymore. Then you just don't notice whatever happens in the process, because, okay, this later, because now I'm going there. This is not important. Okay, it's like this guy Alexander. He could see this mold on the material and think, who left the open window and who left the open jar with this? Now it's ruined, to throw it away and go with his research further. But he got interested. What is that? Maybe I should check it, huh? So this is something that being open for the process really lets things you didn't plan to come in and maybe even change the course of your way. This, it's not very comfortable and it's not very easy, but this is something that is needed for serendipity to happen, being open. And another question now is how to be open, because it sounds very nice and it sounds very easy, but it's not that easy. It's something that you need to struggle. Now I just remembered I was talking with my therapist and about the thing that I am workaholic. I am absolutely workaholic, working all the time. It's a really important part of my life. And she said, you know what? Lazy people are planning leisure. Workaholics need to plan rest. So really, it doesn't happen for workaholics. Okay, now I work, now I rest. You still think, you see something, this I use, and you have to plan rest, really. This day, I'm resting, it means nothing that concerns work. So the same is with being open. You can say, okay, now I will be open, but actually you have to put energy there. You have to try, you have to do something to expand, to be open, to be actually open, because just saying this, it doesn't really work. And I want to share some magic tools that I use in my work and in my life, and I feel it is working for me, for being open. So first of all, I called it opening up, and I will share just some ideas. What does it mean? For example, like improvisation, one of the main principles is saying yes. And out of there, I took this principle into my life, but really, really took it into my life. Because saying yes, it could be very easy. You just can say yes to invitation. Somebody invites you somewhere, somebody suggests something, on purpose, try it on purpose. Say yes and see what happens. Once I tried 4 hours, half of the day, saying only yes to everything. It got embarrassing at some point, but it was worth trying. But when you see how many things can come to your life when you just say yes, because saying no, it's very easy. It's safe, it's comfortable, and saying yes and opening for whatever comes to you, this is where adventures come from. And also in this opening up and saying yes, I always remind myself that I am not only mind, I am also body and I am also heart. So if I want to be open, it's not only my mind that I read different things, that I am interested in different things, I am expanding my point of view. This is very good, this is nice, this is needed, this is great. But it's also my body and it's also my heart. And being open sometimes means just changing your body posture. If I'm saying like this and thinking of something that I need to decide or create something in my work, maybe it's a good idea to stand up, take a deep breath, and then see if some ideas are coming, because this doesn't really help. And if you come to the person like trying to connect like this, yeah, it could be, but if I come like this, it's a bit different feeling, even if you fake it. The body sends impulses to your brain, and your brain understands body posture with all the memories that are there. So when you do that, brain remembers a lot of memories when you were like that, and probably you were like that when you felt good, when you felt open, when you were on vacation or in a party or with the friends. So just changing body posture, it is already leading to opening up. Just try to to talk otherwise, to express feelings otherwise, to walk otherwise, and see how does it expand. Not only automatic habits, but how do you expand if you really change just a little tiny thing. The other magic tool that I use in my life and my work is curiosity. And this is extremely important for me, because if I'm not interested in something, then I never come up with a good result. I can do a lot. I am workaholic. I can do whatever. But if I'm interested in it, then the result is really, really different. And what I do, I really fake it till I make it. For example, if something happens that I don't like, first reaction, on purpose, what I do is saying, that's interesting. Although my automatic reaction would be, what the hell now happened? Or, no, we're not going there, this is nonsense. Or, I'm not going into this, you deal with that. No, that's interesting. And then from here, really something is different. You get interested, and then you go into details, and then I have this mode of being scientist. Okay, so this is interesting. Let's see what happened, how, why, like a scientist or detective, whatever you like more. Really going and seeing what is there, and then from that you really get interested. So really try this. First sentence or first thought when something happened that you don't really like, that's interesting. You can even think of the face expression that goes with a sentence or a body posture. Now I do this and I get interested. Really, it's a habit. Old habits you change with new habits, and you have a new patterns in your life. And the third tool, it's not a tool, it's actually the magic sentence that I use a lot. This I heard from my teacher, and it is one of the best advices I ever got. Don't take it serious, it's only experience. This is rule number 1. Of course, there are things in our lives, in our work that is serious. We have to take care of that. We have to do our best. But we don't have to take it too serious. One of the things, another thing, you try everything, you do it. It worked, great. It didn't work, you learn from that, you move on. Nothing will die. No one will die. If there is a risk that you will die, of course, you better take it serious. But if not, then you really can try it. And as I already said, that habit is a serendipity killer. There are painkillers and there are serendipity killers. So habit, it is routine and habit. If you go your way, your plan, your ongoing project, and don't really pay attention to what is happening around, then you just don't notice it. Because it is happening. Events, people, situations, invitations, it is happening all the time. It's just a matter, you notice it or not. In everything what I do, in order to notice it and in order to be open and let this serendipity come into my life, I try to do everything with playfulness and with curiosity. In improv theater, it is creating stories out of chaos. In mentoring is being really interested in people's stories, in the way they do it. Really being with the person and being interested, what is going on in his life and how could I, with my experience, enrich his world. In therapy, it's not taking it too serious. It is very important for me, being playful. In life, it's just being open and wanting new things to come. Playfulness and curiosity, two things that are really, really important in my life. And now, I want to ask you to decide one thing that you will do otherwise today. It can be walking instead of driving. It can be putting another color, lipstick of another color. It can be going out or staying home, whatever. Little tiny thing that you will do otherwise today. But decide now. I give you half a minute. You have it? Okay, so now the next step, thoughts has incredible power. What we think is empowering the whole environment, but words have even bigger. So now turn to someone, to your neighbor, and tell him or her, what have you decided? Share in couples, what have you decided to do otherwise today? Wow, that's a lot. Did you decide to change your life today? Okay. I have a gift. This is the gift. And I want to give it to one person, absolutely randomly, because somehow when our eyes met, I felt that it is leading somewhere. I don't know where yet, but let's be open. I want to give it to you. This is the present. So this is all I wanted to share with you today. So let's be open. Let's invite serendipity into our lives. And in case you got interested in this adventure called serendipity, I wish you a good luck in being open and going out of your ongoing projects and ending up in satisfactory or beneficial way. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be with you. Do you have questions? I have a question for myself, because this is this is one of the impro games, which is called in the impro theater. We're using it. It's called asking and answering myself. Like, you put the question and you put the answer. So my question to myself would be, do you really live like that? Being open, playful, interested, in a flowing serendipity? No. Of course not. I get pissed, I get angry, I get sad, I get disappointed, I get to the moment when I want to drop everything and leave for vacation. But I try. I see a very big value in it. That's why when I remember, I start trying again. Sometimes I forget, but really pretty often I do remember that this is important for me. Another question? Okay, you have, yeah. Workshops. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing workshops, and it is about communication and improvisation and team building. Those are the main areas. But it is just a name, but how I do it, it's about opening up, which means that all the tools I told you, all the improv principles and everything, it's about opening up. Because communication is also about being interested in other person. It's not being focused only on myself and my scenario, what I will say, but it's also about what is here and now, how is this person, how do I approach him. This is about being open. So it is leading to serendipity anyway, but it's not about that. Yeah. If people come, it is easy for them because they already came. That means they are interested. So I cannot talk about all the people, but the people that I meet in the workshops, it is easy because they already made a decision that they want to change something. This is the first of Jesus. It sounded like addiction. Yeah. Uh-huh. I would say, now I wanted to say something, but actually it's out of the term of serendipity. So okay. I would say like this: serendipity, what is the term, is beneficial or satisfactory outcome, yes. So the events that lead us somewhere that you end up in a disturbance or, bad outcomes, it is not serendipity yet. I would say like that. Because I think John Lennon or somebody, I don't want to mix up, but some famous guy told that it's always good at the end. If it's not good, it's not the end. So, yes.
I'm a workaholic also.
Oh, welcome.
Ever gets easier to be a workaholic, and how do you actually manage to do
I'm not the best consultant of this area. But I have my way of relaxing, and it is traveling. Because when I leave, it can be leaving from Vilnius, but better leaving from Lithuania. Somehow when I get on the plane, it switches. And this is easy for me because I have friends in other countries. So if I see that I have 3 days, it doesn't matter that I will take planes and get tired physically in the airports, but really I just take the plane and I go for 3 days to Athens, for example. Now today I'm going for 3 days to Rome. Because it's somehow my mind switches and I come back physically tired, but mentally and emotionally inspired. So this is my way of really changing environment, going out of my everyday life physically. Because also, of course, meditation, but this is, I don't know what is your relation to meditation. I love meditating, many different forms, and it is very good for relaxing. And it doesn't take a lot of time, 1 hour before sleep. Okay, I can deal with that. Okay, thank you so much. So now, okay, applause. Thank you. Thank you.